Hello everyone and welcome back to another album review, and in this video I'm going to review Sexorcism by Brooke Candy. This is the debut from an artist who has actually been around since 2012 with the hit single That's Me. Brooke Candy over the years has released a lot of singles and a few EPs here and there. Some of the works I think they're quite good, and in general I get the sense that she's one of those up-and-coming artists that come more to this more futuristic pop side and also having this really nasty and vulgar attitude of over-sexualization. And this is pretty much what I expected and what I got with this album, which is something that we see a lot, especially recently. Its content is nasty, is explicit, and there is a massive sex appeal from both her delivery and the lyrics. Now, for a lot of people this might not be to their liking. Honestly, it's a direction that I don't mind if it's done in a good way. And there were a lot of things that got me hyped for this release. This is actually one of the albums I ended up anticipating the most. Brooke Candy over the years has released some really good singles, but this is the first time after all of these years that we see her in a full-length album. And like I said, there were lots of things that made me hyped for this album. For one, she had an amazing feature on the track Shake It from the latest album of Charli XCX. Then I listened to the two first singles from this new album, Sexorcism, which were amazing in my opinion. There were two really great tracks that really got me hyped for this release. XXXTC is a really smooth, really slow-paced track with a sexy attitude, and I love the production on this thing. It has some really forward-thinking, futuristic production, which was also the same thing with the track Drip. I love the beat to this thing, and in general, I love this over-sexualization. The way she portrays it on the song is really astonishing. Then there was the other single that was released few days before the release of the album, Fuck Me Up, featuring Nasty and Boys Noise on production, which is a really nice touch. I think the production to this thing is quite good. However, it didn't resonate with me as much as the two previous singles, mainly because I thought it was a bit repetitive in its structure. The chorus was going on for a lot and the verses were extremely short. It was basically the same thing repeating itself over and over again, and Nasty, in my opinion, she didn't deliver that much of a great feature. But other than that, I was still excited for this album. And another thing that got me excited for this release is that on almost half of the tracks over here, it was Nico as part of the writing process, which is also featured in two of the tracks of this album. And Nico released the EP of the year in my opinion. A really nice explicit EP with amazing production to it and some really amazing and forward-thinking pop rap tunes. So for all of those reasons, I was really hyped and really excited for Sexorcism. And the album ended up having lots of interesting features and being really short in length. It's only 12 tracks and it's 33 minutes long, so you can't go wrong with that. Unfortunately, in my opinion, other than the two major moments with the two great singles, I don't think there is another moment over here that was really quite impressive, which is really unfortunate because in a sense it feels like I'm listening to a different album. Compared to the two main singles, the rest of the album doesn't manage to come up into being something really amazing. Even Fuck Me Up ended up being one of the better songs in my opinion. And even if the feature from Nasty is not that interesting, the thing with the album is that actually none of the tracks has any sort of interesting feature. I mean, even the two favorite tracks of mine, XXXTC, I don't think that the features from Maliibu, Miitch or Charli XCX are the ones that really made the song that special, or even the really short and almost pointless feature from Erika Jayne in the track Drip. The issue with most of the tracks is that the features feel mostly unnecessary, mainly because the features might have a really short verse or they might be part on a chorus where you might see both Brooke Candy and the featured artist, and so they feel almost unnecessary and they don't bring absolutely anything new to the table. Not only that, but almost all of the deliveries over here, they sound really boring and really uninteresting for some reason. I don't get that much of an energy or that much of something. It almost feels like every one of those features was bored during the process of this thing, which is kind of sad because I definitely saw the potential for lots of these tracks. Even the Ask Nico features, they were not that intense or that incredible. Like the track RIP, for example, I don't like the chorus on this thing. I think it's a really weak chorus, and not only that, but Ask Nico tries her best, but it's definitely not what I was expecting. The same with the track Boss Beats, where Ask Nico feels like she's barely in this track, and it really got me disappointed. And even with the writing on some of those tracks, some of them feel quite short, they don't really develop into something all that much, or they just sound like really basic at some points. They don't have the really forward thinking and the really catchy and interesting production like we see with the two main singles, which is kind of sad. I definitely was expecting more out of this thing. And even if the album on some occasions aims on a sort of sexy and really sort of silent sex appeal, I don't think it makes an incredible job on portraying that, especially given that there are some albums even from this year that have a really nice sex appeal to them, but keeping the really nasty and ratchy content, like for example the new Ask Nico EP or the Slater mixtape, or even some tracks from the new Charli XCX. I think Brooke Candy sounds the less imaginative on the bunch, which is really sad and disappointing. Tracks like Nymph and Cam featuring Iggy Azalea offer some really mediocre pop rap production to them. The ones I would say that were a bit more forward thinking, it had a few nice moments to them, were the track Swing featuring Brie Runaway. The thing I liked the most out of this track was the post-chorus. It gets really epic, it gets really heavy, and I love the heavy distorted bass to this song. It's a bit sad that the verses and the main chorus are not that interesting. Then there's the track Encore featuring Laguni Chonga, which has a really nice introduction. I like this sort of glitchy repeated samples. It's just sad that the track transitions to a less interesting melody when the verse from Brooke Candy comes, and it's also a really short track. Then there are tracks like Freak Like Me featuring TOOPOOR, which has a really basic sort of trap production to it that I'm not really that much of a fan of, and there are also some sort of Travis Scott ad-libs. Yeah, not really a huge fan of this song. And then there's Honey Pussy, a track that has a chorus that gets repetitive really fast. And with that being said, I don't think there's more to say about this album. Truth be told, I think that upon further listens, I quite enjoy some of the tracks a bit more, because the first time I listened to this thing my opinion was more negative, but still I think that this is just an average album that was quite disappointing. It was really promising with the two first amazing singles, but it's sad that the rest of the album just falls apart into a mess of lots of different stylistic approaches that sound quite basic. The features sound uninteresting, most of the deliveries feel sort of effortless. Even for people who are looking for futuristic and really nasty pop rap albums, there are far better things that have come out this year. So yeah, this was disappointing. I'm going to give Sexorcism a 5 out of 10. What's your opinion on this album? Like it? Dislike it? Why? And what do you want me to review next time? Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.